Hey, what's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. We've got a great guest here this morning. We're going to be talking about, as you can see, that your past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. And I am excited. This is a topic that I'm passionate about. We're going to jump right into it, whether you're ready or not. So I want to welcome, if you guys would help me, to the Wake Up Legendary show, Kelly Olson. How's it going, Kelly?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I just logged on and you looked a little in shock that we were just going to go live without even barely saying hello.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Nice. So, I'm excited to talk about this with you. This topic. You gave us quite a bit of information on yourself, which is so great. You're thorough. You're somebody who is obviously living life, living your best life, or at least doing your damn best to try to. You're a yoga instructor. You're a certified mediator. You've completed 7 Tough Mudders. You are still working your 9 to 5, yet you're hustling a online business to try to grow it. You've got a lot. You've got children. I mean, you've got it all. So talk to us about what led you here online and what eventually led you to Legendary Marketer in our community.
So, okay. But that's a big question. So I have 4 kids. I stayed at home with them. As soon as my oldest was born, I stayed home with them. I gave up my career. I'm also a lawyer. I worked at a big law firm, gave that up to stay home with my kids. I wouldn't trade that decision for the world. And then 2 years ago, I got divorced and needed to find a job. And so I ended up taking a job as like an administrative assistant, which I'm still currently doing. And it takes me, into an office and away from my kids. And it's hard to balance that. And I want to be here with my kids. So I started looking in about 2019, started looking at different ways to make money online so I could spend more time with my kids and have more control over my schedule. And it's, it was a lot of starts and stops. I, tried the Shopify. I tried starting a blog. And after doing a lot of research and, funny enough, getting on TikTok to monitor what my kids were watching, I started coming across all of these videos that talked about Legendary Marketer. And so I thought, I have to go investigate this. So I researched it and I looked up different programs, and I was totally blown away by the community, the people that I reached out to, how they talked about Legendary Marketer. And I thought, well, it's $7. I'm trying this. And it's been amazing. It's been a life-changing decision.
Yeah. That's great. I hope that all you marketers out there who are wondering what does somebody look like who might respond to your message on a platform like TikTok. Well, you're looking at it right here. It's people who are strong, intelligent, multifaceted. I mean, multi-dimensional. It's not just somebody who's sitting back on their couch with their pounding chips. And nothing wrong with pounding chips. I'm not trying to because I pound chips. As a matter of fact, I was pounding chips last night. But it's not your lazy bum who's just looking to get rich with no work. It's real people. And Kelly, tell me, why do you think that maybe now you're open to building a business online, whereas maybe at a certain time in the past you weren't? Do you think that times are changing and you're a part of that change in the world and in the marketplace? Do you think it's because of coronavirus? Does that not have anything to do with it? And you're just at a time to where you're looking and you're more serious now than you were before. What do you think is different for you now than ever before?
A few things. I think that, I definitely think that times are changing. We're going, more and more and more online. And I think, COVID just made that accelerate. But I think there was a lot of personal growth that I had to do to get to this position. If anybody would have told me 6 months ago that I was going to be making TikTok videos, going live on TikTok, going live on a morning show, I would have laughed. Like I would have laughed, because my MO, how I grew up, and even even through the course of my marriage, my MO was to try to keep the peace, don't speak up, you know, like I didn't voice my opinion. I was always quiet. I've said this on multiple TikToks. I just like did the duck and cover and hide and wait for the storm to pass. And that doesn't serve me anymore. That's not getting me to where I need to go, where my goals are, what I envision for my future. And so there's been a dramatic shift in me, for sure, in the last 6 months of the last 2 years, where I'm going to do whatever it takes to be successful and reach my goals. And I need to be that example for my kids too. So it's been a personal change for me.
So and that's obviously what the headline of this live is. This interview is about that, amongst other things that come up. But you gave us an incredible amount of information. For those of you that don't know, just so you understand the behind the scenes of this show, we reach out to people in our community and say, hey, want to come on the show? And they're like either yeah or no. And if they say yeah, we're like, go fill out this questionnaire so we have a little bit of information on you. Well, we sent that to you, and you gave us an incredible amount of information about your past and your history. And I'm not sure how much you want to weave into the show today of that. But what you just said is a great bridge into that. So it's less about COVID and it's less about working from home or whatever because of external circumstances. It's surely those are a part of it, but it's more about an internal shift in the way in which you've lived your life up until this point. And there were a couple of things that stood out to me. Duck and cover, fly under the radar. These were personality traits and characteristics about you that you developed as, listen to this, everybody, in your youth. And you tell me if this fits or not when I'm done here, Kelly, because I'm just, I'm feeding words into your mouth that I think fit, but you correct me if I'm wrong. Growing up, you develop these skills of ducking and covering and flying under the radar and being a good little girl, because you had an older brother that was the opposite of that. And he took, for lack of better terms, a beating because of it, right? And so you were the younger sister, and as a survival mechanism, you developed this fly under the radar, duck and cover characteristic part of your personality, which was probably a necessary thing for you to do when you were young to survive, to stay alive, right? But then in that sort of part of your personality carried into your adulthood. And all of a sudden, 2 years ago, you said, hold on a second. This may have worked and helped me to survive at one part of my life, but it's not really useful to me anymore. Does that fit? Does that make sense to you? And do I have it here? And what would you correct or add to that?
You nailed it. I mean, growing up, my household was chaotic. Like it really was. And I mean, you nailed it. My older brother challenged everything. If somebody told him the sky was blue, he was going to argue it was a purple, hue, whatever. I mean, he was going to argue. And I mentioned in my questionnaire, he's now homeless and he's a drug addict, and I can't find him. I don't know where he is. But in order to avoid the way he was treated, I did the opposite. I went to school. I sat in the back of the class. I never raised my hand. no one had any idea how smart I was or what kind of person. I mean, no, nothing. I was so quiet and introverted.
Yeah.
And I think that also, I mean, I mentioned it fed into my, the abuse that happened in my marriage. The way that I had, like, the way I was, my way of being definitely contributed. I don't think the abuse was certainly not my fault, but
Yeah.
I know now, looking back, how my way of being had contributed to that situation, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely no longer serves me. I need to show my kids a better example.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I want to just tell you that I'm incredibly inspired by your willingness to go back and face your past, and to, take a good, honest look at it. And I think one of the most empowering things you just said was, hey, I played a part in, not in childhood stuff, but in adult relationships. As a child, we need to just, no, we're not responsible for anything as children. We don't know any better, and we never play a part as children, and we always need to give children a pass, because children never deserve anything except guidance, love, and they just don't know. But as adults, it behooves us to take more responsibility, and my favorite thing that I was told, Kelly, was, and this was when I was overcoming and battling the beginning stages of my heroin addiction, was, Dave, you're not responsible for your past, but you are responsible for your future. So from this day forward, the moment that I'm telling you this, you're responsible. And so that gave me the ability to say, okay, I'm going to get a pass on the past, even if it was part of my adulthood, because maybe I didn't know. But now I'm beginning to learn. And the common denominator in all of my chaos and drama is me, because everywhere I go, there I am.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Why have I been in 4 abusive relationships in a row? Maybe my picker's broken, right? I mean, what am I bringing to the relationship? And that was what you just took responsibility for. So, certainly doesn't excuse abusive behavior in any way, shape, or form. And I'm glad that you separated that. But it certainly is an empowering feeling, is it not? And I'd like you to speak to people who, because there's a lot of people on here that are saying, I can relate to that. And probably many more are just listening going, I can't believe she's being so honest and vulnerable. So would you say a bit more about how, what it's looked like for you after so long of living under the radar, or not really speaking up, or, I guess, I don't know, speaking up, standing out, taking action, whatever, putting yourself out there. How now, as you're going through this process of entrepreneurship and so forth, what are the challenges? What are the struggles that you're having in breaking free from some of those personal chains?
Well, I mean, there's a few things. I've been in therapy for 2 years working on these issues.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, therapy should be normalized. Like, I feel like everybody should have a therapist. It's so important. One of the things I had mentioned was getting on TikTok. It took me, I mean, I had everything all set up. I was like ready to go. And then I kind of got stuck for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it just kept rolling around in my head that my ex might see my TikToks. And I mean, I have, what happened, the divorce was difficult. The 2 years since the divorce have been more difficult. There's been litigation. There's been all sorts of other issues that have come up between the two of us.
Yeah.
But one of the things that happened when we got divorced was, I had this like group of people around me as friends, or I
Sure.
thought they were friends. I'm still friends with two people from all of them.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I've said repeatedly is you have to get comfortable with people not knowing your side of the story. Because I'm not out to like talk about him at all. But I'm also not now. I'm not going to be quiet about my story.
Yeah.
But I'm not there. But there's a difference between not being quiet about my story, being open about what's happening with me, and trying to justify or defend myself in this other area, which I'm just not doing. And it took me it took me 2 weeks to sort of figure out where that fine line was, and just be comfortable with it. And I think just coming out with like, look, I have an older brother who's a homeless drug addict. I've been in abusive, like all of these things have happened. One of the craziest things that happened that really sort of drove me forward in starting to pursue my goals was my mom passed away from cancer. And then 2 months later, on the same night, my older brother's significant other was killed in a hit and run car accident. And 2 hours later, my nephew died in a car accident, trying to get to the hospital to see his mom. And my ex he didn't want people to know about this. And I'm just, once you start telling what's actually happening,
Yeah.
it's freeing, and people resonate with it, and there's just nothing to hide anymore. There's just nothing to hide.
Yeah.
Like this is just it.
Yeah.
And it's so empowering. It's life-changing to just like, you want to see the skeletons? Oh, I'll open the door. There you go. Right? Because everybody has them. Everybody has things like that.
Yeah.
And just coming to terms with it and being comfortable and being able to say, you know what, this happened.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is. It's incredible to feel that way, just to be sort of free of trying to hide it.
So that all happened, that sort of, I don't even know. I mean, I'd like to call that a transformation, but that's sort of like a high level self-actualization, kind of like you're almost stepping out of yourself and looking at the situation going, what's real and what's not here. And also what can I control and what can I not control? That's why that you need to get comfortable with other people not knowing your side of the story. Slap me upside of the head like a 2x4. I mean, I thought you were going to say you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's such a cliche thing that we say, and we all say it, and it's fine. We all need to hear it at a certain time in our careers. Like, you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. It's like, okay, got it. Like, cause I'm uncomfortable as hell. But man, so that hit me. That just, you need to be comfortable with other people not knowing your side of the story for whatever reason. I got to write that down. That was so powerful. I just can't even tell you. So thank you for that. But that whole thing, whatever the hell that was, where you realized all that happened within basically about 2 weeks as you began marketing, that all happened. That was all the shit that hit you, basically came kind of crashing down on you, and you were like, okay, I need to sift and sort this and figure out what's mine, what's not, what I can control, what I don't, and then make a decision whether what I want to do about it. And then, of course, there's moving forward with the actual thing that I started, which was marketing and building the business. So that all right? That was a 2-week window.
Well, so my mom passing away in the accident happened when I was still married.
I got you.
And that I think was really what propelled me forward in in my decision to get divorced and try to heal and get into a healthy relationship. So not within 2 weeks, but
the reason why I said that, and by the way, I'm so sorry, the drama and trauma from that, the 3 deaths in a row. Thank you for sharing that, and I'm so sorry. But the reason why I brought that up in terms of the 2-week kind of like, okay, I started marketing and all this stuff kind of came to the surface. And I say came to the surface because it's like what I think we realize when we start kind of putting ourselves out there and taking action on a business or a fitness goal or whatever is that, oh shit, there's a lot of things that are already there. And this particular activity is bringing it all to the surface. It's bringing all my fears. It's bringing all my insecurities. It's bringing all my childhood stuff to the forefront. And the reason why I wanted to really highlight that and try to put that in perspective for everybody who's listening is because I wonder how many of you guys can relate to this and how many of you guys have awareness about as you're beginning to build your business and take action and activity is starting to happen, you're aware of the stuff that's coming up and what it is. And if you are willing, first of all, awareness is the first step, but if you're willing to sift and sort it, and you're willing to, like Kelly, you did, to step back and say, okay, what's mine, what's not mine? You know, what is actually, what do I have control over? What do I not have control over? Like, I don't have control over other people's opinions. I don't have control over the fact that I may not get a chance to tell my side of the story. So I need to be at peace with the fact that others may not know my side. I can't control what people think of me. I can't control the comments that they leave. I can't control basically everything except what I do. Now that I know that, am I okay with that? Am I okay with that? Am I okay with the world, even though one comment sometimes on a video nowadays with social media, it's like everybody can voice their opinion on your stuff. Like, also what's real and what's not. Like, if somebody leaves a negative comment, does that mean I'm a piece of shit? What's mine and what's not mine? Or is that just somebody projecting their shit onto me? Can I separate the two and keep going? You laughed. What's coming up?
Yeah, I was going to say what people, the comments people leave is a reflection on them, not you. It's really what's going on internally for them.
Yeah. Well, you are really incredible. And I really, truly hope that you feel that and know that because, and I have a damn good feeling that your children are going to be saying the same thing and thinking the same thing and feeling the same thing as they are able to once they grow up, look back and see this journey that you've walked. One of the things that my wife has done, which is really cool, is set up an email account for our kids, and then she emails them. You know what I mean? Like really real raw ass stuff that's going on and that has gone on since the beginning, like email about her postpartum depression, email about all these things that have come up. And, you know, I don't know why I said that, why I brought that up, but just, you know, it's like, it's such a powerful, what you're doing, you know, going to therapy, looking into this stuff, figuring out what's yours, what's not yours. I mean, I've done this process. I currently am in this process. I will likely always be in this process. It's part of personal development to me. I really actually learned what real personal development was. And it's not just going to seminars, you know, jumping up and down, and getting, pumped up, crying, and right. It's like, okay, what am I willing to, for an entire year, find a therapist and see him once a week, and not bail out, and not, when things start getting uncomfortable, bail out and say, or not when somebody brings something up that I hired to help me, when they say something that makes me uncomfortable, not bail out, right? Am I willing to face other people's perceptions and opinions, because maybe what I even think about my situation or myself might not even be um, based in reality. I may have a warped view of myself and others. And I think a simple way to put that into perspective, for those of you listening wondering what the hell I'm talking about, a lot of times we think we're better than or less than we really are.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for us to just see ourselves right sized in the world, as equals to other people, and other people equal to us. Every single thing that happens, human beings have a tendency to think, oh, I'm better than that person, or I'm less than that person. And it's not a conscious thing. We're not out saying, oh, that made me feel better than you, or, oh man, that comment made me feel like a real piece of shit. It's not that. It's a subconscious thing. And so one of the most powerful things for me has been to just learn to feel right size, just be an equal. Just, I'm not better than, I'm not worse than anybody else. But what final things what advice would you give to people, Kelly, who are beginning this journey of entrepreneurship, of online marketing, and they're going to run into lots of stuff? Maybe it's going to be mechanics, maybe it's going to be dynamics, but what would you say to those people?
Oh boy. Well, one thing is to anticipate problems. Like, there will be problems, and you're capable. You're capable, and you're smart, and you can fix them. You can manage a problem. The other thing that I really want to tell people is, make sure that you're real and authentic. There's no reason to project this. You don't need to project like, I'm the expert. Come to me, I can answer everything. That might get you some people to follow for a little while, but it's not going to connect with people in the long term. And when you connect with people on a more personal level, and you approach people like, how can I help? What can I do, or what can I say that would help this person? You develop connections that go far beyond, any projection, or, come to me as the expert.
Yeah.
And that's going to take you much, much farther.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. When I first, as I'm showing your TikTok, I just wanna for those of you, I saw some of you guys, it's Kelly _Olson. Okay. It's Kelly _Olson is her TikTok. And I'm sure you're on Facebook and other places you guys can look her up and connect with her. As I've said this with many guests over the last couple of weeks, like, really, please connect with Kelly, and follow and network. And, it's not just about what can we really have to shift out of this mindset of what can I get from somebody, to how can being a part of this person's life, or them being a part of my life, help me grow, and what can I learn from them? Maybe for many of us, we come into this and realize I didn't have as many friends as I thought I had out in the quote unquote real world, or maybe I'm looking to outgrow some of my friends. And there's a lot of really awesome people right here in this community. And you just keep, Kelly, you just keep popping up. Like, I just keep talking to incredible people just right here in this legendary community, which has, in so many ways, in absolutely period, outgrown me and my ability to even hardly facilitate, to even hardly showcase everyone in their story and who they are, and you know, like I had literally never even heard of you, like, because I don't organize these calls. Like somebody on the team organizes them and looks through people and tries to dig through our community. And like, and I'm just so grateful that I met you today. And I'm walking away from this call with so many things just myself that I'm grateful that I heard from you. Um, what has this community been like for you? What has it given to you in terms of gifts? I've named some of the gifts that it's given me. What has it been like and meant for you?
The community here is unbelievable. I've met some of the smartest, kindest human beings in this community. I've reached out to them, like DM'd them or on Facebook, messengered them, and everybody is so responsive and willing to help. I jumped on a live a couple Fridays ago, and there's a few other, people from the community in this live, and the live was ending, but they were doing a really cool split screen. And so one of the guys was like, I'll have a Zoom meeting afterwards. And so I'm not kidding, I'm on a Zoom meeting with like 8 of like these giants in this community until 3:30 in the morning. We were on this Zoom call for probably close to 4 hours. It was amazing. So the community here, it's nothing like I've ever seen anywhere else. I'm so grateful that I've met these people. They're amazing. They're just amazing with they're and so generous with their knowledge and time. And yeah, I'm so appreciative.
Yeah, well, I think they could probably and will probably, and I certainly will say the same thing about you. So, Kelly, thank you for your time today, your incredible story, your incredible courage and bravery. And I absolutely am so rooting for you and so excited for you. And I think you finally found your groove and it looks really, really good on you. Okay. So keep up the great work. And I hope you'll continue to come back and keep us
Thank you.
updated. Okay.
Oh yes, I plan to.
Awesome. Well, have a beautiful day, new month today as well. Have a great month, and we'll talk to you later, okay?
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kelly. Thank you. What else can you say? What else can you say? That was really, really great and powerful. And one more time, just so you guys can see where you can connect with her, at least on TikTok, and I'm sure she's on Facebook, and you guys can look her up. We know all of you guys here are, know how to do your detective work. So go and find her. But there is her TikTok, Kelly Olson. Incredible story and show today. And I'm leaving personally with an incredible amount of inspiration and mojo to kick some major ass today and this month. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow for Wake Up Legendary. Be great, be legendary, be brave, be courageous, be like Kelly.